Yeah, thank you very much, Cathaoirleach, and it's divided in half between myself and Deputy Richard O'Donoghue from Limerick. Now, could I just say at the outset, I want to thank, obviously, the people who work in the offices of the Rural Independent Group for their excellent work and help in presenting this very important motion, very timely motion. I want to thank Deputy Callan Nolan for introducing it and Deputy McGrath for his work. And our group in general want to make this very, very clear, because this is the most important thing, because it has been thrown at me on a number of occasions that, oh, well, are we saying now that we don't want the hospitality sector to open fully? Nothing could be further from the truth. The strongest advocates at opening this sector is the Rural Independent Group. And to be very clear about it, our motion is calling on the government to immediately allow for the reopening of all indoor hospitality to everyone, whether vaccinated or not. And if approved, all indoor hospitality could be reopened from next Thursday. Now, the one thing that I would have to say at the beginning, and the Minister knows that I'm not personally critical of her in the slightest, and she knows that only too well. But what I would have to say, if you take, for example, what happened yesterday, I'd wonder what has gone wrong in government. They simply can't start off in the morning and have a clear, cohesive message to give out, because you have one minister going on one radio station saying one thing, you have another minister going on another radio station saying another thing, completely contradicting each other, and expecting the public then to buy into that and say, well, this is all right. It's totally confusing. I actually, on one hand, I mightn't blame the ministers 100%, because maybe they're confused, maybe they're busy, maybe they have a lot on their plate. But I'd ask one thing, and I would say this out straight: what are the advisors doing? Because if advisors can't get their story right in the morning, to have government give a message out for the day and give information properly, what in the name of God are you being paid for? And the Irish people will start asking, what are the advisors doing if this is the way they present a government message? Because yesterday, from a PR point of view, was an absolute disaster for the government. What I want is, I want our hospitality sector to be allowed to open. It can do so safely. We have highly responsible people. I come from the tourism capital of the world, County Kerry. We do tourism better than anyone else, and we're not boasting about it. It's just a simple matter of fact. The rest of the country, the rest of Europe, the rest of the world follows what we do in County Kerry, because we're very excellent at it. The reason we are is because the people who own hotels, guest houses, pubs, cafes, they're at it for generations. Their parents, their grandparents have been at it. If you take the town of Killarney, since Queen Victoria, since the visit, they've just grown and grown, and the expertise is oozing out of them. And what they want to be given is the opportunity to open to everyone. This system of divisiveness, I don't like it. I believe that what is going to happen here later on tonight, it's going to create a divide in society. It's going to create a disturbance that we never had before, in that people can be asked about their public record, about their medical records. It happened yesterday on the plinth. Deputy Matthew McGrath and myself were asked a question. And I don't blame in the slightest, absolutely none whatsoever. It was actually good that the reporter asked the question. He asked us personal questions about our own health status. A thing that could never, ever be seen, dreamt, or thought of that would happen before. And at the same time, that journalist thought, well, it is fine to ask the question. And again, I'm not blaming the journalist. It was good that he did so. And I thanked him for asking the question, because it showed that that's what we're going to be facing. And when I say we, I mean we as a society. That's what we're going to be facing in the coming days, weeks, and months. And I think that's wrong. I think that people's personal medical records, what they do, what they don't do, that it's wrong for any person, be that an individual or members, we'll call it the state, asking questions like that. I just think it's wrong. Well, let me put it to this way now. Deputy Matthew McGrath, I'm not his spokesman, he's sitting there in front of me, he's perfectly capable of speaking for himself, but there was words attributed to Deputy Matthew McGrath yesterday which he did not state, and which, and like I say, I'm not talking out of turn here. The man is far more experienced in the political world than I am, because he's there longer than I am, and I know that he was wronged yesterday because words were attributed to him which I certainly didn't hear him say anyway. And so I hope that clarifies that matter, because everybody knows I'm responsible for one thing and one thing only, Minister, and that's what comes out of my mouth, not what anybody else thinks or what anybody else says. But I wanted to just put that on the record, seeing as you asked the question. But, oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
To be fair,